Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Denmark once again, a very good beer country these days of course, and we're doing another visit to Hornbeer from Kirke Hyllinge. So today we have one of the first beers that they released. This is the Caribbean Rumstout, an Imperial Stout at 10% ABV, and they've added a little bit of rum to the brew, so it should be a really interesting one. I really enjoyed the Vladimir P that I did in the last review from these guys. That was a really top draw beer, so I'm really interested to see how this one turns out because it was one of their earlier beers. It's very highly rated though, 99 overall on Rate Beer, and I think it was 92 or 93 within the style, so that tells you it should be a pretty damn awesome beer, and we do know that these guys produce some awesome stuff as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this review, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Hornbeer before. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed as well, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review, especially if you're watching in Denmark, because I know there's loads of them over there that I've probably just never heard of, but the support and the input that you give to the channel is always hugely appreciated. It's always great to hear from you guys, so don't hesitate to get in touch. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Hornbeer then. So Hornbeer is a farmhouse brewery from Sjaelland in Denmark, and it was founded back in 2008 by Gunhild and Jørgen Fogh Rasmussen. The brewery is actually in a small town called Kirke Hyllinge, not too far from Roskilde of course, I think a little bit to the west of Copenhagen. But Jørgen was actually quite an avid home brewer, and Gunhild also loved beer, so they really just started a brewery to kind of follow their passion, if you like. But their first brewery was very small and it only produced 300 litre batches of beer, but in their first year their stout, which was this beer of course, the Caribbean Rumstout, it was named as the best new beer in Denmark. But 3 months after the brewery was founded, unfortunately the brewery building burnt down, so they had to set up a completely new brewery in a new building, and that opened in January of 2009. But they've recovered very strongly of course. These days they're producing over 2,000 hectolitres of beer per year. They've got about 30 or so beers in their range, and many of them of course have been quite highly decorated. They've won a lot of prizes for their beers. But Gunhild also designs the labels of these beers, and that's why they have this kind of distinctive sort of painting style artwork on them. It's really quite cool actually, and it does make the beers very distinctive when you see them. But they actually are now exported to several countries worldwide as well, and as is the case with quite a lot of breweries in Denmark, these guys are aiming to make the production of their beers CO2 neutral. So very environmentally conscious company with really nice artwork, and as I said, in my experience they've produced some pretty damn awesome beers. So definitely looking forward to this one, and like I say, I hope you guys enjoy the review. If you want to learn more about Hornbeer of course, their website, like I said, is in the video description below. And pretty much this is a brewery in my experience that if you simply pick a style of beer from them that you personally enjoy, you will find that this is done at a pretty high standard. So make sure you try some of the Hornbeers if you find yourself in Denmark, a really quite nice brewery. So yeah, let's get on into the actual tasting of this beer then. Let me just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. Pardon me. So there you can see, there's Gunhild's really nice artwork there. There you can see the pirate. Just take it back from the light a little bit. You can see the pirate with his lantern and the rat kind of biting into the rum bottle there. The light's just been a wee bit funny in this video for some reason. It says on the back here, we have brewed this beer a long time and we finally think it is a shoot. A very majestic stout with a hint of roasted barley, smoke malt, coffee, some spices, and to top it all off, a drop of rum. This beer has been seasoned on oak wood. This beer can be stored for many years in a dark closet or cellar, but it is also ready to drink when it leaves our brewery. Buy an extra bottle and stash it for a special occasion in a few years. It will develop into a good wine. Only get better and better by the year. So yeah, a little bit of the English was there, a little bit kind of crazy, but yeah, it's all good. As you see here, it says on the side, Hornbeer smager also good. I'm guessing that is just, it means it tastes really good in Danish. Of course, I know the Swedish, not so much the Danish, but there you can see the nice little bottle cap in there. You can see, I think it's a cow, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it's a cow or a bull with the horns there, but really nicely presented, this one. Some of Gunhild's really nice artwork on this, but without further ado then, let's get it open. Best before I think that would be the 6th of December 2026. So yeah, should be a really nice one for us to try. And like I said, I really enjoyed the Vladimir P that I had from these guys last time. That was a cracking beer, and it really is a shame that it got taken, or it got retired, I should say. But you can smell a little bit of that kind of spicy wood character from this one as you open it up. It really does smell quite nice. So as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice sort of dark ebony rosewood colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy beigey tan head on this one, almost a kind of hot chocolate colour, as I like to say. But if I hold this beer up to the light, there's a nice sort of kind of ruby tint to the edge of this one, but overall it is a really dark ebony rosewood colour beer, this one. It's really quite nice looking, this one. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. And as I'm moving the beer around, you can just smell a little bit of that kind of red fruity character coming off this one, but there's also some of the kind of spicy notes that you normally associate with rum. Rum of course comes from sugar cane, so there's quite a bit of brown sugar in there as well. But let's have a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Oh, that's interesting. It's actually coming across to me as kind of smoky. That's really interesting, that there is a little bit of a kind of smoky or almost peaty thing coming out of that. That's really unusual. I wasn't expecting that at all. But it's there's a bit of kind of, you can definitely pick out the woody spice. I do think there's a bit of peaty character to that one, right enough. That's really unusual. Yeah, that does smell really quite nice actually. So yeah, once you get past that initial kind of smokiness in the beer, there's a sort of nice kind of, there's a lot of kind of dark chocolate coming out of this one. You can pick that up in the beer. A lot of nice brown sugar as well, some treacle and molasses. It does smell quite toasted actually. You can pick that up in this beer really easily. There's a little bit of vanilla I think as well, and that just kind of goes with the sort of oaky, the kind of spiced wood characters that are coming out. A little bit of red fruity ester I think as well, but really, for me, the aroma is kind of dominated by the sort of chocolatey and woody notes in this beer. It really does have a sort of almost toasted wood character to it. The spicy rum notes in this. There's a good bit of earthiness in this beer, like I was saying. Yeah, that is nice. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer. This is something that Hornbeer really seem to have nailed down. It's the same with the Vladimir P. It's got a really, really good aroma, this beer. Really nice, inviting aroma to the beer. So like I say, earthy hop, a little bit of red fruit. I think it's more of a kind of candied red fruit or a sort of figgy character. It's not too strong and kind of sharp in the way that some of the other Imperial stouts can be. But a really nice malt base. There's some chocolate, some treacle, molasses, a bit of toasted character there. You can smell a little bit of the roasted black malt under it as well. But the woody character and the little bit of oaky vanilla kind of thing that's coming out of this beer does make it really quite interesting. There's a definite smell of that kind of spiced character that you associate with rum. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you try it, because it is really quite an interesting one. So yeah, let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Caribbean Rumstout from Hornbeer over in Kirke, Hyllinge on Sjaelland in Denmark. Skål. Ooh. That is pretty good. That is really quite good actually. To me it does come across quite a bit different from how it does in the aroma actually. The aroma was a smoky character and almost meaty, to be honest with you. That was the first impression I got of this one, but this one, the spicy character that's in this stout really is quite nice. Oh yeah, that's good. It's just interesting because there's a big kind of woody character just underpinning this beer. I mean, right in the middle of your palate, of course, where the malts come out, you've got that kind of roasted black malt character to this one. It's not coffee, it's definitely a sort of roasted black malt that comes out of this beer. And the woody spiciness that comes out of this one, that sort of spiced rum character really mixes in with that, and just it makes that kind of spicy or kind of bitter base that this beer has just that little bit more prominent. It's really unusual, and it works really, really well for this beer. It's a really damn good beer. I can see why this one was really highly rated, and there's no doubt, you know, you can see why it won the award, because it's really quite unusual, and at the same time it's really damn good as well. Actually, it's a lovely beer. If you get the chance to try this one, give it a go. It really is very well done. I just love that it's got this kind of underpinning character to the beer, that black malt and that kind of rummy wood spice that the beer has. It's absolutely lovely. On top of that, you can get a little bit of, there's a wee tiny bit of vanilla in there, but mainly it's a nice kind of dark chocolate. As the flavour progresses into the aftertaste, I think it's getting a little bit sweeter, but you can still feel that sort of black malt kind of spicy wood character that the beer has. There's a bit of brown sugar in there, of course, a sort of treacle molasses sort of thing, but that's quite minimal in comparison to these black malt and woody characters that are coming out of the beer. The chocolate's there, like I said, and there's a little bit of the kind of vanilla flavour that you normally get with oak barrel aging. But this, you know, this beer really is damn good. If you get the chance to try it, it's something that's quite unusual. Give it a go and see what you think. It really is well done. Yeah, that's a really pretty damn good beer. In the back corners of the palate, you've got a bit of earthy bitterness there. It starts off a little bit bitter, I think, and it smooths out as you come further forward. Around the front curve of the palate, that earthiness is even lighter. It's almost got a little tiny bit of a kind of noble hop quality to it. But definitely, I do wonder if they used English hops in this one. Right enough, but it's really nicely done around the edge of the palate. It just starts off bitter and it smooths out, and a little bit of the earthiness does carry around to the front of the tongue too, which is kind of quite unusual in my experience. But you know, this beer is really good. I should maybe say as well, I'm maybe a little bit biased in my review towards this one, because when it comes to spirits, outside of whiskey of course, I really do enjoy rum. If I was out, I don't drink that much outside of the videos these days, right enough, but if it comes to choosing a spirit that I want to drink just for enjoyment, you know, rum really kind of is up there. I really do enjoy a nice little rum now and then. Of course, whiskey's something that you just enjoy the taste of a little bit, but rum as well, but rum's a little bit more kind of sessionable, I would say, than whiskey is. This is a really nice beer though. Absolutely beautifully done. There's a little bit of fruity character to this one as well. Just behind the front curve of the palate, you'll feel that little oily bubble come out, and that's where the red fruity esters in this beer are. I'd say it's a little bit of a kind of raisiny character that's coming out of this one. It's not quite sharp enough for plums, I'd say. It's more of a kind of lighter raisin element. There's a bit of a kind of candied red fruit in there as well, but for me it really just comes across as raisin. And maybe it's kind of that, I know the rum and raisin ice cream flavour that is quite common these days. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It just has a little bit of that red fruity character in it, this one, but the flavours all blend together really well. As you progress into the aftertaste, like I said, the beer gets a little bit sweeter. The bitterness from the hops just smooths out a little bit, but you can feel that black malt character and a little bit of the kind of woody spice in this beer just underpinning it, and that's what makes it unusual. It's quite cool, because I mean, a lot of people think, oh, an Imperial Stout, you know, just big dark beer that you're only going to drink one of, but they can be so complex. I mean, if you compare this to the Vladimir P that they did, I mean, the Vladimir P is a big chocolatey thing with a nice little bit of roasted malt in it as well, and that's one thing I think they have got down, is how to get the roasted malts just to kind of underpin the beer. But it's interesting with this one because it comes across as just a lot more spicy and interesting. Although this beer is interesting in a completely different regard, right enough. The spicy character of this one just makes it unique, whereas the Vladimir P is a bit more of a sweet Imperial Stout than this one. But this is a really damn good beer, this. Both of them are, the Vladimir P and this one are pretty damn good. As I said before, it's a shame the Vladimir P is kind of being retired, but you know, if they keep this one on, this is just as good, but in a different way. It's really well done, this beer. So if you want to try an Imperial Stout from Denmark, I think Hornbeer are a pretty safe bet. That's really nice. I just like the way the chocolatey character lingers in this as well. I think the brown sugar's coming out a little bit more as your mouth adjusts to it as well. It's got this nice dark, slightly toasted treacle thing going on with it. It really is a very nice beer, this. I've repeated that quite a few times in this review, right enough. But in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say this one It's kind of mid-bodied actually. It's not quite as heavy as the Vladimir P was, so I'll say that this is mid-bodied rather than full-bodied as Vladimir P was. But it's got a nice kind of slightly oily mouthfeel to it, but it's a little bit wetter than some of the Imperial stouts you're going to come across. The carbonation is very smooth. The malt base on this one is actually quite spicy. There is a little bit of sweetness to it, but mainly for me, the malt base has a little bit of that spicy character to it. The hops overall are quite smooth. There's a little bit of bitterness to them, and there's a wee bit of juicy fruit in there as well. But as I said, this is a really, really quite nice beer. I love the kind of rum infusion that they've got with this one. They've added a little bit of rum to the brew, and that just gives the beer that little bit of spiciness. So in that regard, it is a very, very unique beer, and if you get the chance to try it, I highly recommend that you do. So yeah, the Caribbean Rumstout from Hornbeer in Kirke, Hyllinge, just near Roskilde in Denmark. Really cracking beer, this one, and very different from any other Imperial Stout that I can think of that I've reviewed for you on the channel, so give it a go if you get the chance. But yeah, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out the links to my other Hornbeer beers that I've done before as well. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below, and let me know what other ones I should try from Hornbeer as well. I think I'll need to go for an IPA or something next time, since that's been 2 dark beers recently that I've done from them. But absolutely a really, really good brewery. This is another cracking beer from them. But until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media. Make sure you try some of these Hornbeer beers. And you know, if you haven't tried some Danish beers before, it's a really wonderful beer country these days, so make sure you check out. Until the next time, Sjaelland just now, the Caribbean Rumstout from Hornbeer in Kirke, Hyllinge, Denmark. An absolutely cracking beer. The spicy character really is what makes this beer really quite unique, so make sure you give it a go. Sjaelland just now.